other. He's a friend from work.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Don't you ever talk about me!
The Killing Time Podcast with Lux and Cody.
Are we in? I don't know.
We're in.
All right, welcome back to the Killing Time Podcast. I don't know what's going to happen here, so we'll just see. It never fails. It's always something. I don't know why we just can't get things smooth. I thought we were doing good there for a little bit, and then tonight smacked us right in the balls. So, but anyway, how are you? What's going on?
I'm great.
Great. Can you pull your microphone down a little bit?
Yeah,
there you go. Because it's like when people want to see your beautiful face, they don't want to see this. Hi, I'm Cody Chrissy. You know?
Oh, I didn't look that way on my screen.
Well, no, honestly, it was really just covering your mouth, and I was being dramatic. And the only reason,
I got you. Sometimes
whenever the audio gets messed up, I have to sync it, and if I can't see your mouth, it makes it harder for me to sync it.
Oh,
I can't always get it to sync automatically like it's supposed to. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Either way, I'm good.
Good. I'm good. You're good. Everything's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. I wasn't home, or I wasn't in my house for a while. But now I'm back, and we're back. Today is Wednesday. You'll probably see this you'll probably see this either Thursday or Friday. So, anyway, some Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, it sucked.
Yeah,
it sucked. The Super Bowl sucked. Regardless of the outcome and who won, that game sucked. Really, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a shame.
Yeah, because whoever wins and loses the Super Bowl it's really pointless when it comes down to how good the game was. Like for example, the Philly and New England Super Bowl. I'm sure you like me and like a lot of people in this area didn't really care to see either team win because if you're from this area, you're not a fan of New England and Tom Brady, and then you're also definitely don't want to see Philadelphia have any kind of success either. But having said all that, that was a great game.
Those are the worst. When you're a Steelers fan, those are the worst fans to be around.
Yeah, Eagles and Patriots fans, yeah. But having said that, that game was great. That was a great game to watch, just as a football game, So at least it had some like redeeming value in that it was an interesting game with the backup quarterback playing and some of the plays and the offenses were just off the chart. Something like 1,000 yards of passing combined. Like it was a crazy game.
No, absolutely. It was good football.
Mm-hmm.
It was this Super Bowl was a letdown completely. Just completely in every way.
Yeah.
I was even saying down to the even like at the end, they only had Tom Brady on the platform. Mm-hmm. I know maybe because of COVID or I'm not sure why, but like typically wouldn't it be the whole team interviewing? It just didn't seem like they were celebrating.
Yeah, I remember seeing.
It wasn't like a crazy celebration and stuff like it used to be, but I'm thinking maybe COVID.
Maybe, especially because I wasn't saying they were on the opposite side of the stage.
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like I was trying to say they were trying to spotlight Brady or anything like that. But it was the fact that it just didn't seem like the normal celebration.
Right. So the thing is, like,
it seemed kind of bland.
I don't know if people are shocked at the outcome of the game, while watching it unfold. I don't think I was too shocked before the game. Obviously, I thought Kansas City was going to win and it was going to be a shootout like a lot of us did. But as the game unfolded, when I was thinking about what was happening, there's a guy on YouTube. His name's Brett Coleman, Kollman, I believe is how you spell it, and I'm pretty sure that's the name of his channel too. He is like super into the X's and O's and like film study and breaks shit down, and it's a very, very good channel if you're into that kind of stuff. And I watch most of it. So I noticed, and then I watched his video on this too. And there's a glaring hole in Kansas City's game, and it is that once you get them into a spot where they really can't do much, the team is already super dependent on Patrick Mahomes, but then they get to this point where he does this like 15 to 20 yard drop back, which you saw constantly in the second half and even in the first half of the game, where he drops just ridiculously deep, and then relies on his ability to throw the ball as far as he can. And he highlighted the play in the last Super Bowl against San Francisco, the deep pass to Tyreek Hill that was like a 60-yard pass or whatever. It wasn't a touchdown, but I think it was on a third down. It was a very crucial moment in that game because Kansas City was down. He pretty much just ran 20 yards back and just chucked the ball downfield to Tyreek Hill. He highlighted a very important thing on that play where, for whatever reason, as amazing as, you remember 49ers defense, their entire defense, especially their defensive line last year, was incredible. And that's why they made it to the Super Bowl, because of how good their defense was. On that play, they ran a defensive line stunt. So instead of just your outside guys containing and going at the quarterback, Bosa went on the inside, still created pressure, but the problem was that move cost them a second, and that second gave Patrick Mahomes the ability to complete that pass. Then he went and showed over the years and over the games in Patrick Mahomes' career, whenever teams didn't do any stunts and just kept on the outside, when he's running 20 yards backwards, and there's two high safeties, he almost, unless it's like a crazy play, they almost never complete the passes. And whenever you get them into that zone where he's just running backwards, like he did that entire game, when you get to the Chiefs to that position, they can't win because they're not great at the intermediate game. Whenever they don't have a run game, when they're into that one-dimensional, we're just throwing the ball down the field, which everyone thinks they're great at, which because you see the highlights of them doing that. When you get to them to the point where that's the only thing they can do, and Patrick Mahomes is running, think about it, you're running backwards 30 yards. So as the further you run backwards, the more you're putting onto the deep ball. And that puts the pressure on you to make the pass. It puts the pressure on the receivers to connect with the ball, and just not a good situation. Now, personally, I thought that was going to be Buffalo's game plan. And maybe it was, and they just weren't able to execute. But I thought Buffalo was going to get Patrick Mahomes running backwards. Like what we saw in the Super Bowl was what I fully expected to see in the AFC Championship game, and it just didn't happen. We ended up getting the Chiefs into the Super Bowl.
They had zero offensive line.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
Zero. So he either was taking sacks or running. There was no there's not even a fair analysis of Patrick Mahomes in that sense of the running backwards was all he could
survival
do,
mode,
right?
Survival mode. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was him trying to be him at that point. I do know what you're saying when it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
The one dimension. What do they do?
Yeah.
He usually has time.
Mm-hmm.
He has time, and his receivers come back. They create separation and they make the play, but he didn't have time. He didn't have time to do anything.
The crazy
How many
thing
practice
is,
squad players was on that offensive line?
Yeah, the crazy thing is though they never were able to snap out of that funk. Like think of Pittsburgh versus the Colts game, like the Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis. They played like absolute shit in the first half. They were doing that same redundant bullshit, and then in the second half they snapped out of it and turned it around. They didn't just get better and they didn't just make the plays that they weren't making. They snapped out of that funk and changed it up. And that was a completely different team that took the field, regardless of whatever was said to them at halftime to motivate them or pump them up. Just in play design, they were running different plays whenever they came back in that game. So Kansas City did not do that. They stuck with the same shit for the entire game. Whether that was a result of what was being done to them, I don't know what it was, but to me, it didn't seem like Kansas City was able to overcome either themselves or the Buccaneers to get back to doing what they do.
So it was basically every play was high pressure on the quarterback, and what he did get off, his receivers didn't complete.
Yeah.
What he was able to do as a quarterback, they weren't able to execute on the other end as the receiver.
Yeah.
That was it. And then every other play was high pressure on him.
Right.
He ran every play. He ran. What did you see what they said? I forget what Mark was telling me the stat was, but the amount of yards he ran in the back.
He ran 500 yards before attempting passes combined.
Yeah. Dude, that's that. There's no offensive line. That's what I said. I said, man, was somebody mad at him? That's what I said to Mark. I said, boy, were they mad at him?
Yeah.
What they do? They were let him in. It was wild. And then I guess everybody was hurt. So, most people were hurt on their O-line. Or out for COVID. Yeah,
they were out. Their tackles were out. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing, and maybe I'm wrong, but I have a hard time believing Andy Reid can't overcome that with coaching.
No, because remember we would see number 75. He would just be standing there looking.
Yeah.
He'd just look downfield and watch him. Like he'd step back. Say, I don't want no. They were pretty useless, dude.
They didn't leave their tight ends in the block though at any point.
No, I know. And
there's got to be something you can like. It just to me it seemed like they just kept all right. We're just gonna keep doing the same thing. That's what it looked like to me. And obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there for the conversations. But as a fan, as a spectator, not a genius in football and how in offense, to me it just looked like and shit. We got a college course on watching a team doing the same shit over and over in 2020. So to me, that's what it looked like. It looked like a team that did not make adjustments and try to do anything different. Like if you know that side of your line's getting beat up, and again, I'm an idiot. Keep a tight end in on the strong side. Keep it back in. Roll out to the right. If your left side is weak, bandage it up a little bit and run to the right and try that and see if that does anything. It looked like they didn't try to do anything out of the box. All the crazy jet sweep and motion shit. Do you remember seeing any of that? I know they do a lot of that in the red zone to trick you into scoring touchdowns and opening things up. But where was the creativity? They just seemed so defeated. Like it was just Hail Mary after Hail Mary attempt, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. And obviously they didn't get much help from their defense.
Or the refs.
Right. Or the
penalties
refs.
were ridiculous.
Yeah, there was some
that had him rattled in the beginning.
Yeah. There was some bad stuff called. But then again, there was the refs gave the Chiefs a boost last year in the Super Bowl. There was a lot of stuff that didn't get called against them that aided to the Niners losing. So that's just part of football.
So what they just had to get it back.
get them even, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Like to me, to the uneducated eye, it looked like a team that failed to overcome. Not failed to overcome because that can happen to anyone. But failed to adjust. It looked like there was no attempt at adjusting. Maybe there was, and the Bucs defense their defense and their game plan was that good that there was just nothing that they could do. But to me, it looked like they just tried to rehash the same shit for the entire game.
Well, and they're also used to taking the lead over people. Well, starting slow. Typically, they start slow, okay? And then they go up on the opponent.
Right.
And make the opponent play catch up with them. And I don't think they knew how to play catch up the whole game.
Right.
So, well, they couldn't. I mean, they took the quarterback out. You'd be Andy Reid with no quarterback. No quarterback.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that was somebody that couldn't scramble?
Right. Would have been deadly. Would have been deadly. Yeah.
That poor bastard.
Yeah. And I mean, and he still managed to play his ass off. Mahomes did.
Yeah, 500 yards before he attempted a pass.
You know what's crazy?
Break. Was it how many yards?
Yeah, 497.
That's out of this world.
some of those incomplete passes he threw were more astonishing than anything Tom Brady did that entire game. Can you think? I mean, and this is not to take the piss out of him at this point. I'm well past that. Well past that. This is not to disparage Tom Brady in any way, and this is just more of the anomaly that is Tom Brady. Can you give me one play that Tom Brady made in the Super Bowl that sticks out?
I don't remember.
You can't.
I mean, I don't know.
You can't do it.
Everything. No, I was more impressed with the defense.
Yes.
I was more impressed with the run with Leonard Fournette.
And I'm not saying this to take anything away from Tom Brady. To me, it's more incredible that this guy
ran a lot.
This guy has made a career it made the most successful career of all time. He's not a good athlete. His arm is, I mean, power-wise, you've seen better. He's not like particularly, he's not, I mean, he's 6'4", but he's not like big and muscular, so he's not super strong. He's not fast. He's not athletic. This guy is very lucky. A lot of things go his way, which is nice, but time after time after time, he just finds ways to win. And you can't even explain it anymore. You can't even say like, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. He doesn't even make spectacular plays. And yet at the end of the game, he happens to have more points than you.
No, but he's consistent. It's consistency.
Yeah, and again, I don't understand it.
That's why I said, let's wait before we crown Patrick Mahomes the GOAT and the greatest of all time.
Why?
All right, listen. No, this is what I'm saying here. Because how consistent can his style be? Can he win 7 Super Bowls?
We've never seen it like that. I mean,
can it be as consistent as Tom Brady? There's no way.
Think of
he mastered the position of quarterback in a consistent manner.
Think of John Elway. John Elway is not to say he's like Mahomes, but there's similarities between John Elway and Patrick Mahomes. 2 Super Bowls, you know? He only won 2 Super Bowls. And people can say whatever they want about the team around them. I think the Patriots proved that it does not matter what kind of talent you have on your roster. It really doesn't.
Tom Brady proved.
It does not matter.
Elevating the team.
That and the coaches putting them in the right scheme.
Sure. Belichick and all that, yeah, not to take away, but because of his status and who he is, he went to Tampa Bay and elevated them automatically.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's a different nature when you're on the field with him as a teammate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different nature, dude. He's held to a different standard.
Yeah.
And he shows it. He's consistent. He shows it. Right.
Yep.
Makes everybody around him want to work harder. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And he plays the position well.
He had the most interceptions this year in the league. Him and Carson Wentz had 15. And it's like, well, he's just like immune to like normally when you lead the league in interceptions, your team doesn't make the playoffs.
I'm telling you, he knows he's been a part and he takes place in a team atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes is no good, then we're no good, right?
Right.
That's exactly how the Kansas City Chiefs work. When Patrick Mahomes wasn't good, they weren't good.
Right.
So I mean that it doesn't work that way with Tom Brady and the team he's on.
Another thing, everyone's clowning on Bill Belichick for Brady doing this. I don't think a lot of people realize Bill Belichick won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants as a defensive coordinator. So he still has 8 rings. And Tom's now at 7. So
wait a minute. Belichick was there for the whole ride.
Yeah.
With Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
There's no joke when it comes to this because first of all, when it comes to the franchise, they succeeded. They came out on top no matter what Tom Brady does after this. because they got, what was he, one of the most underpaid quarterbacks?
Mm-hmm. Literally put that
Winning
team
Super
on the
Bowls
map.
for them.
The team had one Super Bowl
No.
appearance.
They won, dude. The franchise has no regrets, no regrets, and Bill Belichick was there for every one of them, and created them. So, the fuck's the laughing emoji for?
Yeah,
Go
and
fuck
it's like,
yourself.
know your shit. The dude still has more. Bill Belichick's still more accomplished than Tom Brady. So until Tom gets 9, that's what he has to do to pass up Bill.
There ain't no fucking competition.
Right.
There ain't no fucking competition.
Yeah.
There ain't even a fucking competition here.
No.
There isn't even. They're making this fucking competition.
Yeah.
There ain't none of that. This is
hypothetical, not anyone in specific. Had Tom Brady, and this is what you think, because I'll get into what I think. Had Tom Brady not gotten with Bill Belichick, do you think he would be the Tom Brady we know?
I don't know who created who.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it worked that way or if it was just a perfect chemistry. But I think we would.
Still have the same Tom Brady?
Mm-hmm. He's a special being, man. He's a special being, dude. I believe he elevates people around him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he does the elevation. Like whenever he makes people better. I don't think that they make him better.
Yeah, you're right about that. I have a hard time thinking that he would have. Not to say he wouldn't still been successful. I don't know what he did though with the Patriots. That's tough for an organization to do, let alone a quarterback. You got to be with the right people. Like,
no, you got to look at everything.
So, a big reason Peyton Manning didn't do that is because of Tom Brady, right? Because what was the getting to the Colts way of doing that? Whenever Tom Brady was in his prime, he appeared in 2, won 1. So, had Tom Brady not existed, Peyton Manning might have been the Tom Brady, because we'll see what Mahomes ends up doing, but
yeah, if you think that way,
as far as where everything stands, I'm still convinced Peyton Manning's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. If you're starting a season with 16 games, I don't think there's anyone, even Tom Brady, I don't think there's anyone you're going to take over Peyton Manning in their prime. Playoffs and Super Bowls is a different story. But in their prime, I don't think there's a better person to run an offense than Peyton Manning. You know? Because Peyton Manning, his entire career, the shit he did, just impeccable.
Listen, that's why that's a good comparison, because that's what Peyton does.
Yeah.
See, that's the same. Peyton's consistent. Peyton elevates his players around him. That was the problem. The franchise just couldn't get on board in the coaching.
Right.
As well as, not to say that they weren't on board, but as well as Belichick and the New England franchise. They were able to make it work and just create this fucking domination.
Right. Because
one man dominated sport for over a decade, dude.
He's still torturing us. Still. If you're 30 years old,
like football.
If you're 30 years old, a third of your life he's been in the Super Bowl. If you're our age, well, you're almost 30. More than a third of your life, he's been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude. That's why I got out of football for a while.
Every other year, essentially.
Dude, it's just like it's crazy, because when I was a kid, it felt like what team was going to be on fire, that was it, right? It wasn't these fucking. It was almost like a luck of the draw kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, who was just going to get it that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was none of these fucking machines. Like the fucking New England Patriots come walking down and fucking shredding everybody for years and years, dude. And then you get that one-offs. Then you get them one-offs where like, oh shit.
Yeah, like the Raven. Like I said, Peyton. The reason Peyton Manning is not Tom Brady because of Tom Brady. The reason Ben Roethlisberger is not Tom Brady is because of Tom Brady. Think about it. 05, 08, and 10. We were in the Super Bowl. We won 2-1. Like, we've lost to the Patriots, I think, 3 times in the AFC Championship game. So the Steelers could have put another three trophies in the case in just the past couple of years if it wasn't for this guy, you know?
Yeah, this guy dominates the fucking team-based game. I can't do it.
Somehow he loses to
I'm
Eli
liking that.
Manning and Nick Foles. I don't get it. I don't get it. A
Dude.
prime McNabb, Kurt Warner, Mahomes. I mean, Jared Goff, but think of the guys he's beat. It's and then this year,
too.
Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, Drew Brees in the playoffs, like literally the who's who of quarterbacks he's beat.
Yeah, that's why it's no joke.
Yeah,
it's no joke, dude.
It's crazy. Matt Ryan, like at that time and in that time in Matt Ryan's career, he was an elite quarterback. He was top 5.
You know what I say? Fuck Matt Ryan, okay?
Yeah,
you know what I say?
Fuck.
Here's what I say. How about Tom Brady goes and beats Jake Paul?
Jake Paul in a boxing match.
Yeah, let's see that, Tom Brady. Let's go put him on your resume.
Did you see Tom Brady today?
That was awesome.
Oh my god! All right, let's just real quick. I hate to be this guy, but drunk Ben Roethlisberger throwing a Lombardi from boat to boat. What is ESPN saying about him? Could you imagine? Imagine Ben Roethlisberger drunk in public, stumbling around, tossing the Lombardi. What kind of shit they would be saying?
That's that inconsistency with Ben, where he has he has some tarnishes.
Yeah. Okay. And then did you hear what?
So it's more rebellious. This is something Tom Brady doesn't act this way typically.
No. Did you hear what?
Midlife crisis.
Did you hear what Mahomes said after the Super Bowl? He said, I mean, he didn't call anyone out, but he said nothing different than what Ben has said and been totally shit on. He said, sometimes the line made plays. A lot of the time they didn't make good plays. He said the receivers weren't where I expected them to be, things like that. Could you imagine the shitstorm if Ben Roethlisberger said this shit?
Yeah, but dude, it's not also ESPN. It's Pittsburgh fans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That's what that's where it comes down to. Where I'm going to say they, because they're way more crucial than most.
Yeah, we also have high expectations, so I get that, but
which is normal,
right?
Wait, headbutt this thing every time I go to talk.
I know. I didn't even ask you, what the fuck are you wearing?
What do you mean?
What is that? What is on your shirt? I'm confused.
That's
what
NASA.
You got going? Okay, all right. You got your face is all cleaned up. You got NASA on. I was confused. I thought that was like, what was Echo Unlimited or whatever?
No.
What was that? A Rhino? Anyway.
What do you wear? What you got on?
Just Steelers. Oh, there it is.
What you got Steelers on for? They're old news, dude.
Old news.
We moved on.
I'm
getting on that LA Chargers.
Super early, not even a prediction. Who right now, and of course we don't know rosters, who do you like from the NFC for next year? Just, I mean, I'm not asking for any kind of revelation or just off the top of your head. Who do you like for the NFC? It's really tough. Really tough. The NFC is like going to be completely different.
Oh, this is tricky.
AFC is super easy because you could still say the Chiefs, the Bills, hopefully Pittsburgh, and then the Ravens are going to be in the mix.
All right, so we'll start with the AFC because that's the easiest one. What was the question? What do I think? Who do I think is going to be
in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. So okay, so Bills. All right, and then who? I think the Bills are going to. I think Josh Allen's going to learn from his mistakes.
Do you think KFC regresses this year? I mean, well, they went 15-1, so it's a very good chance they're not going to go 15-1 again. But do you think? What do you expect from Kansas City this year? I don't know their roster situation really. Just
I think they need to figure out. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they need to figure out anything. I think they just need to. I think with them we just got to see what happens.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like 10-6 and lose in the divisional round. I don't think they're going to suck, but they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row.
I don't think so either.
NFC's tough, really tough. Like, I think.
Oh, we have.
I think Arizona could do something. They were 5-2, and then things started to fall apart. But another year of them them together and clicking, like Arizona could do something.
What about Seahawks?
I'm not even gonna. The Buccaneers don't even exist. They can go fuck themselves. Seahawks. They got no offensive line. They got no running backs. All they got is Russell Wilson. Sometimes their defense is good. Sometimes their defense is bad. And there's a lot of shit swirling in Seattle right now with Russell Wilson. He's pretty unhappy. But this is everywhere. Quarterbacks are unhappy. It's getting to be a lot like the NBA.
But I'm ready to get on that Motor City Dan Campbell, Detroit.
Detroit with Jared Goff.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
I like Jared Goff, and people can crucify me for this. I like Jared Goff better than Matt Stafford. To me, say what you want about the team around Matt Stafford. Say what you want. We know that the Detroit Lions have always been terrible. At some point, you as the quarterback have to get your team over the hump. In his entire career, he hasn't won a playoff game, and he's been in 3. At some point, if you're that good of a quarterback, you got to be the guy to get your team over the hump. Get somewhere, or do something, and he's never done it. So,
I like the Chargers.
Chargers are AFC.
That's what we're moving on, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
What else is there to talk about? We ain't gonna talk about the South. We're gonna talk about the Falcons or the Saints.
Yeah, Saints
no
are.
Talk about it.
Saints are probably they're gonna have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill playing quarterback. So who knows what to expect from them? I don't expect much out of the Saints. Packers can go. No, I think Packers can go fuck themselves after what they did.
Packers. We got let's go with the AFC. Bills, Dolphins, Chargers. Yeah. And I'm gonna say Browns, Steelers.
Steelers are gonna make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, sure.
They're gonna make the playoffs, so whatever. Everyone why is this? I don't know why the sky is falling in Pittsburgh. I do not like our cap situation, and especially up against our free agents. It's not a good look. The little amount of money we have to work with and the amount of guys that are coming and going, but outside of Dupree, our defense is still going to be pretty unchanged. We'll see what happens with Sutton and Hilton. Our defense is still going to be elite. Our offensive line, that's what needs work. Our line, and then hopefully our line getting worked on will supplement the run game. But if you remove that playoff game, and you consider that this is a team that just fired their offensive coordinator, on paper, Ben Roethlisberger still had a great year. I don't think he fell off the cliff. I mean, he's my favorite football player of all time. I know I'm biased, but I don't think the guy fell off the cliff. To me, it seemed like a more of a system failure than it seemed like that he was the problem out there. You know,
it was a system failure. Yeah, it was system failure for sure.
I mean, that playoff game, when you start a game the way you do with that fumble into a touchdown and then a punt and then an interception, and then once you're down 21-0, of course he's going to go out there and sling. Of course he is.
Who knows what happens? Who knows,
I don't
man?
think he fell off a cliff. I don't think his arm
No,
is a
he
problem. I don't think he. I think he was confined. I think he was in an offense that confined him, and people have a hard time. People think that the narrative is Ben Roethlisberger confined the Pittsburgh Steelers. The narrative is that offense was tooled around what he can and can't do. I fail to see that. I mean, they know better than me, I guess, but to me, we saw the moments of the Ben Roethlisberger, the vintage Ben, and we saw those moments break through in last year for bits and pieces. So if we were able to see that, I don't remember seeing him. Here's why I feel the way I do. I don't remember seeing Ben Roethlisberger attempt to do things that he normally did and fail. I saw Ben Roethlisberger get the ball and throw, and it was incomplete. Get the ball and throw, and it was dropped. Get the ball. That's what I saw Ben Roethlisberger do. I didn't see him trying to run around and looking fat, slow, and lazy and falling down again. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see him. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, from my view, it was a system failure, and I know you agreed with me on that, but it didn't. He didn't look like a guy that fell off a cliff for me.
No, I know what you're saying. I know. It didn't look like a guy that was trying to be his old self and failing at it, right?
He threw 10 interceptions. The amount he threw the ball over 600 times, and only 10 times it landed in the defensive player's hands. I mean, every other year he's 17 interceptions, 18 interceptions. He's never thrown the ball more, and he only finished the season with 10 interceptions. Yes, his yards are way down, but think of where he was throwing the ball. He was throwing screens 40 times a game. So, yeah his yards are going to come down, but he was still able to have super productive 36 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Just that alone, the dude can still play. And people were wanting Matt Stafford and freaking these other quarterbacks to come in. Dwayne Haskins. We're gonna throw Dwayne Haskins in.
No, we do want a quarterback. We want a young quarterback. We want Dwayne Haskins is a good pickup.
Yeah, when we need it, and maybe Dwayne Haskins will work out. But look, even in our division, show me DeMar Jackson's touchdowns versus interceptions. Show me Burrows and show me Baker's touchdowns versus interceptions. None of them are better than Ben. So I don't know why we need to retire this guy.
Well, no, not
Pro Football Focus. I don't care I don't care if they ranked him 25 out of whatever. Who gives a shit? Fuck Madden giving him a 79.
Look at you fucking people off with the Miller Lite cup like you fucking drink food, like you're drunk or something.
Oh, you can't even see it. It's
like you drink booze.
I got iced tea here.
Fuck NFL Focus.
I got water here. Yeah, PFF, Madden, everyone, ESPN, like.
No, but listen. We do want to get a quarterback behind him before he goes.
I know. I'm not yelling at you. We do need to plan for the future. I know this.
And what are you thinking? What are you thinking? How long does Ben play for? 3 years?
It's so easy to say this is his last year. It's so easy to say that. I don't know if it's me wanting this. I don't know if this is wishful thinking. I can see him playing 2 more years. I can easily see it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not only the ability of him to be able to play; it's also contract negotiation.
Yeah,
figuring all that out as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors in there, my man.
The reason, and this is kind of not that I feel bad for a guy that's made $250 million just from playing football. The reason his cap situation is the way it is, the reason why he has a $41 million cap hit, and me, as long as I've followed the NFL and watched the game, the cap thing is still confusing for me to understand too. But the reason why he has a $41 million cap hit is because they've continually restructured his contract so that in that year they pay him less money. So, hey, you're supposed to make 20 this year. How about we give you 5 and that other 15 we'll give you next year? And then next year comes like, all right, how about we give you 7 and the 30 we owe you, we're going to give you that next year. And then next year comes and like, how about we give you $6 million and now we owe you 41 next year? Sound good? Okay. Well, next year came and they're like, oh, we can't give you that 41 million now, which is kind of shitty for if you're Ben Roethlisberger. But this is a guy who's had the career he's had. He's made the money he's made, and it's refreshing to hear him say he doesn't care about money this year. We'll see what happens. What happens will happen. We'll see. We're not even there yet. But the only reason they're in that situation is because of what they've continually done and just push it off. And now the Steelers got themselves in a situation where they got so many players on their in free agency, and they got a quarterback who has 41. I don't think them saying that to him had anything to do with his play. Had we made it to an AFC champ, I'm going to say won the Super Bowl. Had we made it to the championship game, I still think Pittsburgh tells Ben Roethlisberger, we can't pay you $41 million this year. And not even, and again, they weren't even going to pay him $41 million. I think they only had to pay him 21, but there's something that 21 counts as 41 on the books. I think. I could be wrong. But I'm fairly certain that Pittsburgh was never going to write a $41 million check to Ben Roethlisberger next year. I'm 90% sure. Regardless, that's neither here nor there. I think they get a deal done for like $4 million, $5 million, and they're able to get past that massive cap hit. Because a lot of people don't realize this. If he retires, that's a $22 million hit. There's nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. That's $22 million that they can't spend in a year that the cap is probably going to get reduced by $25 million. So they're in a tight situation, partially because of what they've done to themselves, or mostly because of what they've done to themselves. So
they're better off than the Pirates.
100%. But if there's a front office that can figure this out, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been playing with borrowed money for years and have been able to stay relevant. Success is one thing, but they're at least staying relevant, which is what you want to see.
See how it goes.
For sure. This is a little backtrack, but what are your takeaways from the Poirier and McGregor fight?
I want to make sure I get it right because there was a lot that I I had an opinion on, but what I mainly think was Poirier. I think Poirier executed well with the leg kicks.
Yeah.
I think that's why most people are saying that Conor gassed out and blah, blah, blah. But I think what happened was, because if you remember this correctly, Conor actually rocked Poirier.
Yeah, like twice, I want to say twice.
And when he took that hit and he realized, oh, I just ate one of Conor's heavy bombs. Mm-hmm. I got this now. Mm-hmm. We're good. So I don't know, man. I think I give it all to Dustin Poirier, man. I don't take any excuses.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
To me, the biggest mistake Conor McGregor fought is fighting a guy who is as active as he is, and
yes,
he did it in a time where he has been super inactive. He's fought 3 times now 4 times in 5 years. So, and that's a sport that you can't do. You're getting punched in the face. I don't want to sound like an idiot. You're getting physical harm.
You can't come into a guy like Poirier and do that. I'll say that.
Especially a guy like there's guys in the UFC that Conor's power is going to overcome, but
unranked and all that.
Guys are that active. But when these guys, and we all see why Conor wanted to fight Diego Sanchez now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And that Diego Sanchez is a brawler, not like he can win any fight. Diego Sanchez
could take it.
He can take anybody if he has the right game plan. And his problem is he's like kind of like Cerrone, where he doesn't really. I don't want to sound stupid here, but he doesn't really know how to fight from a competitive standpoint, but just out of power and pure tenacity, there's not a human on the planet that Diego Sanchez can't hurt. He can inflict damage on anyone. So
I bet he could take Connor's hit too.
People, yeah, exactly. People think it sounded like a joke because of where they were at in their careers, but it's looking back, it actually would have made a lot more sense for the brand, for the UFC, for Conor McGregor, and for Diego Sanchez payday. That fight makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it?
Well, actually, it does. Thinking back on that one, but what makes the most sense? And I know you're going to go on a rant about this one, but what made the most sense was the Nate Diaz, Conor trilogy.
You're not wrong. That's two guys that have been sitting out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
it's a big pay-per-view. It sells. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets paid, and it happens.
And I've been harping about this for forever, but again, it's just more this week. I'm hearing Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz talk about who they want to fight.
Well, Nate comes out. Nate's on press, and he's saying how
talking shit.
He all he's done is been active his whole career, and he loves to be active, and so it's like I know.
Bro, was it on this podcast?
I don't care.
I talked about Nick Diaz. I've spoken about him. How he has
the thing is though, Lux, he does do that though, doesn't he? Just come off the couch and win
for sure.
So that's the thing that. So he fought Conor, then Pettis, then Masvidal, right?
He fought Conor back to back, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was off for 3 years.
Yeah.
Comes back.
Masvidal and then Pettis, or Pettis and then no, you were right.
Pettis
you were
then
right. Yeah.
Pettis then Masvidal.
Yeah. Right.
How long was he? And you think about how long he didn't fight before the first Conor fight.
No, he can do it.
It's wild though. Back to your point though, he's the kind of guy that can. Mm-hmm. He stays active. But to say and to call people out for not wanting to fight, and that's the miserable. Oh my
God, does it drive me crazy? It ruins it for me. It ruins his persona is I'm a real fighter. It's like fighters fight. You and your brother. You just talk shit. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying you don't do it. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? We're sitting here listening to you talk shit on Twitter about all these guys and how you're a thug and you're a real fighter and they're afraid of you and all this shit. It's like, well, then do it. I don't care about your contract negotiations or what the numbers got to be right. We don't care about that shit. We're not the ones making thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars doing this shit. But we are the ones that support you and support this organization and buy the pay-per-views and go to the events and watch the shit. All right? So we got to listen to you say all this shit and we're supposed to take your word for it, but then you don't do it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying you don't. Your brother, I said I had to sit there and listen to him crying, complain, and have Joe Rogan talk about how they suspended him for marijuana and it's going to ruin his career. Bro, they gave you an exception. They brought you back. You fought Anderson Silva. You literally laid down on the ring when you did it. You didn't even want to fight him. You laid down. Go watch it on YouTube. Nick Diaz lays down.
I know exactly. I remember when it happened.
And we haven't seen you since, and you still talk shit. You go into press conferences and you throw monster cans at Conor McGregor. That's the only action we've seen out of the two of you assholes. Like
seriously.
He said, I just read. I think it might have been from Hawaii, it might have been from someone else. Nick Diaz says he wants to fight 2 to 4 people. I can't take this anymore. Conor McGregor, I'm going on it's going to be my fighting season. You fought once. You fought an old freaking Cerrone for 40 seconds. No, Nick and Nate, both of them. They're both talking shit. I just read Nick Diaz, older one, says he wants to fight 2 to 4 times this year.
Jesus. Who's he fighting?
It's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen. I would love to see
Let's talk about people that do fight. Let's talk about people that do fight real quick. Did you watch that Corey Sandhagen knockout or not?
Oh, my God. Oh, I loved every second of it. Loved every second of it. Good to see him get. Who did he lose to not long ago? Sandhagen, I can't remember.
Aljamain
Sterling. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see him get back on track.
He got choked out. Yeah, but I remember watching him in the prelims.
Yeah.
Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
And he was just coming up. That's insane. He's a beast, dude. And then he just knocked out Marlon Moraes, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
If I have his name right, but he with a spinning like a wheel kick.
Frankie
Badass.
Edgar, I like this guy just disappears, and then like I thought he was retired.
Well, that
And
was the
what's his
thing about
name? Clay Guida too. Not to take anything away from Corey
oh
Sandhagen, but
no, Guida. Guida's a badass.
yeah,
He
he
just
is.
came in, just
Yeah, he
classic
is.
Guida,
Mhm.
classic Guida. But listen to this, dude. Back to what you said about the Frankie Edgar. What a bad decision for his team.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would you come out and pick a guy like Corey Sandhagen to bring you out of retirement or like bring you back in and get a spark? Like
Yeah.
start light. Why would you fight a guy like him? They slept on him big time, dude.
Big time, big time.
Look at what he just did. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Super big fights coming up.
Yeah, and then quick Clay Guida and Michael Johnson, real quick. I think I said to Greg, Michael Johnson is probably one of the best fighters ever to just not win fights. Like that
Yes,
guy,
dude.
like
Yes.
if you remember Gaethje's first fight in the UFC, Michael Johnson had Gaethje beat. His fight IQ is just so bad that he just can't win fights. Like talent wise, the dude has it. And there's a lot of guys in the UFCs that have been like this. Neil Magny's one, obviously Cerrone's one. The talent is there. The talent to be a champion is there. And the drive is there, obviously, too, because these guys stay active and stay relevant, but they just cannot come over the hump. It's like, to me, I want to call it fight IQ because I see moments of them just have lapses and do stupid things that lose them fights. But Michael Johnson's a great fighter. Derek Brunson's another one. Like there's guys in the UFC that I don't know what it is. There's just something, you see that thing, like they have the physical talent, and sometimes they're more talented than the guy they fight. It's like the Tom Brady thing. It's like these are the guys that have all the tools and they can't. Like think of going back to NFL and Tom Brady, like for an example, a guy like he played for the Redskins, and then he's Lamar Jackson's backup. RG3, like that's a guy who has all the talent in the world. Michael Vick, all the talent in the world, just couldn't get to that, championship
I think he did
status.
though. I think Vic did.
He did, but he never won a championship.
But I think correct. But let me say this. That's what we may see with the Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
We may see another replay because like Vic came in and did it different than any other quarterback.
No, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
But how consistently could he do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long did it last?
You're right. But there's guys like Michael Johnson, Derek Brunson. There's just these fighters that have like Yair Rodriguez, have all this talent, and you see it in like
Alistair Overeem.
Oh my God. Oh my
right,
God.
He just got knocked out. I mean, brutal by Volkov or whatever his name is. But Alistair Overeem on paper.
Alistair Overeem, I'm glad you said that. He's probably, I mean, striking wise, when that guy is on
he just doesn't use it.
It's weird
lately. I mean,
so Alistair Overeem, I don't want to compare him to a guy like, when you say doesn't use it, you're 100% right. I don't want to compare him to a guy like Tyron Woodley because Tyron Woodley like literally just shuts down and does nothing. Overeem never does that. Overeem, you're just like, Overeem's always doing something. He's never inactive while he's fighting, but it's like the thing you're doing, Alistair, is not the thing you should be doing. You should be doing this. It's like that. It's like you're not like what are you clinching for? Like use your distance and your knees and your like what do you?
You're a kickboxer, dude.
Yeah. I don't
like what are you doing?
Like he has the tools and doesn't use them the right way. He's like trying to do other shit.
It's like I don't want to say Gaethje so much, but like a guy like Gaethje that has the resume of a wrestler but doesn't ever wrestle.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a ton of guys like that. But Yoel Romero.
Exactly.
Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
Wrestler just won't ever wrestle. How many more fights would he have won by being a mixed martial artist?
The thing is like Overeem won jiu-jitsu tournaments and kickboxing. Like he has
exactly. Like I said on paper, he's not.
Most heavyweights in UFC history would kill to be Alistair Overeem in terms of what he can do. He just has a problem putting it all together.
Yeah, it's
It's a
weird.
problem putting it all together. But
Very weird.
yeah, talent wise, I'll anytime Overeem fights, I'm gonna be there watching it, and I hope I don't think he's done. I think he's still gonna continue to fight, but it's just
We'll
tough
see.
because of where he's at in his age and the toll his body's taken. And he's fighting the biggest and baddest dudes on the planet, so it's real tough to see him overcome that because of how far he set himself back. But give it up to the guy; he's consistently in the top 10, top 5. Just whenever he's out,
And
he
Volkov's
comes
no
back.
joke.
No, dude.
Volkov's
That
no
big-
joke,
that
dude,
big-
at all. No
that
joke
big
at all.
fucking 7-foot tall Russian, like
He's big, awkward, and he's good.
Yeah. Seriously, but like,
Yeah, dude. So back, not to backtrack, but also, so not only is Nate Diaz calling out, like Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier, but he also said, this is what he said on Ariel. He said it has to be at 170 because that division is dead at 155. He is out of his fucking mind
Jesus Christ.
if he thinks the 155 division is dead. It's the hottest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not ever been, but it's fucking banging right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Michael Chandler. You know it. Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira.
Insane.
Where do we put Tony Ferguson at? Because you can't sleep on the guy. Are we done with Tony Ferguson? Like, did you see what he did? Like, what do we do with
He's
him?
insane. He's like, Gaethje tried to murder that dude and couldn't do it. Remember, he was like not even looking at him when he did that thing. Remember when he shook his head? And like, he turned away and shook his head, like wiped the blood off his face. Like,
yeah.
He was zombie mode.
Listen.
That was zombie mode.
And then he comes out. Next fight, and he gets arm barred. And you see his arm gets folded in half. In half. By the way. And
no damage.
He's just back. He's back in the gym. He's already back in the gym. Listen, dude. That's who they should make Nate fight.
What is what?
That's a scary fight for Nate Diaz. That's a scary fight for Nate Diaz.
And with anyone on the roster right now, whether it's one, if you want to give me one or give me two, but what's a fight you would make right now?
They're making them.
They're coming up with some good ones, yeah.
Because like obviously I want to see I would want to see Adesanya and John Jones, but I want to see it at its time. I want to see John fight heavyweight first, and then I want to see Izzy go light heavyweight. So they're doing it right. They're doing it the way I want to see it. Yeah. Right? I don't want to just see these two guys. I don't know how it's gonna go, right? I like the direction it's going. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, great fight.
Yeah,
that they're making right now. I don't know. Like, do I want to see? Okay, so I'll tell you. I want to see right now if we can make. I want to see the Justin Gaethje Michael Chandler fight.
Yeah,
both
Gaethje
wrestlers.
Chandler.
Both.
And
yeah, that's the fight.
I would say, and this has been super hyped. I don't want to say overhyped. Super hyped the last couple of years, but just out of spectacle, Bones, Jones, and Ngannou.
Oh man,
just out of the spectacle. Yeah, just as a fight fan, just as a
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Whether it makes sense or not, but Ngannou and
but
Bones,
I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen.
Hopefully. And I'm going to have a hard, and I love both dudes. Like, I have a hard
swear
time.
to God.
I have a hard time rooting for one over the other.
On that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, for sure. But here's the thing. It's hard to root for Ngannou every time. And I'll tell you why. Because you like him so much, you want to root for him. But there's that little part where you're like, maybe this dude shouldn't be in here right now. And I feel so bad for his opponent.
Yeah. So
I mean, like Stipe right now, like at some point you want to be like, I feel for you, brother. I feel for you.
What you're afraid of is Ngannou. If Ngannou becomes champ, he could be the next John Jones or Mighty Mouse. He could be the next Demetrius Johnson, where it's 10 years before we get someone else in there.
He will be. He will be.
Very good chance.
He will be if he beats John Jones.
Yeah, if he beats, he's fighting Stipe. If he beats Stipe, becomes champ, and then beats John Jones, it's like
if he beats Stipe, Listen, dude. Listen. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I said it here live. He's gonna beat Stipe.
Okay.
And I'm not sleeping on Stipe. I'm not sleeping on him.
He has
But
a
I watched
very
him
good
fight
chance to
Daniel
beat him
Cormier.
the second time. There's a very good chance to beat him the second time.
Yeah, I know Stipe beat him the first time, and I watched Stipe fight Daniel Cormier. So,
And listen,
watching him fight Daniel Cormier, I think Ngannou is gonna. You
and
just look at Ngannou and you're like, dude, how can you pick him to lose?
not to take anything
That
away from
line's horrible.
Stipe, and that Stipe and Francis fight. Stipe gave that fight everything he had. Ngannou was burnt. Well, he was burnt out by the first 2 minutes.
Ngannou got better.
Exactly.
Ngannou only got better since then.
Literally, Ngannou stood there, half the fight like this with his hands down.
Because he couldn't. He was
Because
gassed.
he couldn't. He was gassed. That dude's been a lot better than he was
Dude.
back then. Stipe gave that motherfucker everything he had. Everything he had.
Would they take it to the third round or what?
Fifth, that was a 25-minute fight. That was a decision.
Oh, it went the whole way?
Yes.
Yeah, because he said that's the long.
Yes.
That was the longest he's ever been in the octagon in his whole career.
Yes.
Because you know him, he just knocked people out.
Everything he had and won by decision.
I don't think it's gonna work this time, buddy. I'm not sleeping on you, dude. I wish you the best, but
yeah, if there's a dude that's gonna do it, it's Stipe because he's done it already. But
so yeah, not to look past.
To me, that's the only way Stipe wins that fight is points.
That was disrespectful of me to say not to look past the Stipe Miocic and go right to the John Jones, but I do think that Francis got this fight won.
Mm-hmm.
And then what if he beats the John Jones? Who comes next?
I don't.
Like
that's the thing, especially
your Alistair Overeems, your Rosen. He just knocked out what's his name? Rosenstrike. You got your Derek Lewis's, which, hey, I ain't sleeping on the Black Beast, but what style is it going to take if he beats a John Jones, a guy that because these sluggers aren't going to go in there and slug with.
Derek Lewis is the only one I could see on the roster right now that I'm well aware of. Prime Derek Lewis is the only one that's going to go in there and take out a champion in Ghana. It's the only one.
Yeah.
And that fight, that rematch will happen at some point because that first fight, that's the worst fight in UFC history. It didn't happen. One dude had a hurt back. Derek had a hurt back, and Francis, he only fought because they told him to. He didn't want to fight. He just got embarrassed. In his eyes, he just got embarrassed by Stipe Miocic. Meanwhile, he had no reason to be embarrassed. He flew a little too close to the sun. That's what happened to him. One thing I don't want to happen is, and I won't see it this way, and I don't need to care what anyone else thinks, but it will be annoying. I don't want John to lose. If his next fight is versus Ngannou, I don't want him to lose that fight because he's going to, in a lot of people's eyes, that's going to tarnish his legacy. And to me, he can never fight again, and his legacy's already set in stone. He's the greatest MMA fighter we've ever seen. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for anyone to overtake that. I just think with the way society is, super reactionary. If he loses to Francis, especially after his last couple fights not being the greatest, people are gonna call him a fraud and say he was never as good and all that shit. And to me, that's just horseshit. And this is me just speculating because it hasn't actually happened yet. But I don't want to give anyone any more reason to diminish John's legacy.
I mean, his resume speaks for himself when it comes to fighting.
And keep in mind,
talk about the man.
Keep in mind, John Jones has done more to diminish his legacy than anyone has. So I'm fully aware of that.
You can talk about his character.
Yeah.
But listen, let's talk about Mike Tyson whenever he was in his prime and his character. But people still know him as the greatest. Right?
Yeah,
he's still
right.
the champion.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, John Jones will still have to be respected. He'll have to be. But check this out, dude. A realistic fight,
I'll let you finish. I just don't want to. I don't want us to sweep him under the rug. I never will. But John Jones is not a guy you just sweep him under the rug like they did the Mighty Mouse. Like they did the Mighty Mouse. And that dude's the most talented fighter we've ever seen. He fought at 125, so no one was into it. But anyway.
So if I had Sean Shelby, Dana White's ear, and they said, "Oh, we finally picked a fan, and you're going to be the one to make the fight," I'm making right now, John Jones, Gus, trio, right? Trilogy.
A heavyweight.
at heavyweight because Gus just came back at heavyweight. He lost to Verdum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that who it was?
That sounds right.
Yeah, Verdum. Is he the jiu-jitsu guy? The
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah. So he loses to him. He armbars him. I believe in the first or second round. Anyways, but Gus is ready to come back. Let's make that fight. That's a good fight. That'll sell tickets, and it's a good introductory to heavyweight for John. And it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good one.
I would make that fight.
Jones Stipe would be great.
Who's gonna fight who's he gonna fight though when he comes in?
Jones.
Do you have to worry about
if you're looking
like Jones?
if you're looking at it,
like you have to worry about matching him up wrong?
No, but if you're looking at
I know
Stipe probably loses to Francis. Francis becomes champ, and then they're probably going to throw Jones in. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Stipe loses, retires. Because
let him get a feel for swinging all that weight around. Let him get a feel for what it's like.
I agree. I'm just going off of what the UFC's done.
Don't shoot the messenger. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa,
I agree.
Buddy.
Look at what they just did. Look at what they did to Conor McGregor. Their golden boy, like
Michael Chandler. Let's see what they do with Michael Chandler.
Right.
They throw him in UFC debut. Is he going right for a title shot?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're ruthless. People think that UFC babies in plays favoritism. I don't know. I think in the moment they're going to do the thing that sells the most, like Jorge Masvidal. People think throwing them into the championship is a favor, and it can be, but Jorge Masvidal shouldn't have fought Kamaru Usman.
No, he shouldn't have.
Mm-mm. We thought because that knockout in the Nate Diaz fight that he was ready.
No, it was, dude. Honestly, man, I'll tell you, we'll have to go back and look at the Fight Island fights, all of them, and tell me that most of them don't look like they're gassed out and trained. Look at Paulo Costa.
Yeah,
I think some of that sleep shit. I think things got to these fighters, dude.
Yeah,
Masvidal looked like he was so gassed, and that was a big weight cut for him. Big weight cut. But dude, Paulo Costa, there were so many letdown fighters on Fight Island in the beginning. I don't know what it was. I don't want to make excuses either. But if we had a fresh Jorge, I don't know. He didn't look the same. He did not look the same to me. He looked wore out.
You're right.
He looked wore out. A lot of them did. But anyways, we can wrap it up if you need to or whatever. I don't know
sounds good.
What you're trying to do. But UFC's on the right track, dude.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
And imagine you can't base it off of performance so much when you're in a world where, okay, this week we're gonna have the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're gonna have them play the Atlantic Falcons, whatever, dude, right? The Atlanta Falcons. And then next week they're gonna play this. They don't just pick and choose the matchups, right? So performance is based on who performs the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
They rank up, right?
Yeah.
In this, it's not always that way. They're selling tickets. They're selling a show. There's storylines involved, obviously, because they're making the matchups. So,
2020 was.
That's why people get overlooked and people get. It's why it's brutal because sometimes it's business. It's not personal. You know.
You're right. 2020 was a tough year for the UFC, just in terms of the quality of what we got to see, and obviously not to the UFC's fault. They did whatever they could to keep the show running. Just for whatever reason, it was just kind of a flat year, but already 2021's off to a great start. And these upcoming cards, I mean, we got Nunes and Megan Anderson fighting. We got
they're really
Adesanya Blachowicz. Like that fight is going to be incredible. So we're moving in the right direction.
I can't wait to watch that fight, dude. Polish Hammer, dude. Also, think about like in a sense they do appreciate the talent in the sense where like Hazmat Shemaev, the dude that was just whatever his name is. That is his name, Hazmat Shemaev.
You might as well just call him Hazmat.
It's Hazmat Shemaev or whatever it is. But dude, he comes in and he just fucking was wrecking people. They were trying to get him right up with ranked guys. So they do appreciate talent somewhere, but they're selling tickets. It's going to be a great year though. It's going to be great.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait, dude.
Yes, sir. All right. Good talking.
All right, good talking with you, man. Yep.
Good shit. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.
Yeah, later, guys.